Well, we've been doing what I feel like is the scouting tour, scouting series here. I have a bunch of different places to scout and really want to get on top of it before deer season starts. And this is a property that I hunted only a couple times last year, seen a pretty decent buck, a smaller buck, the very first time I hunted down here. Then I only hunted it one more time. I found a really nice dead buck that someone shot back here. I turkey hunted down here as well. There is some hunting pressure, not too bad. The one spot I wanted to go before, I came back in like January and there was a tree stand right there, so we're going to move away from that like we usually do when there's pressure. So we're moved back in to kind of these canyon, the cedar tree draws that are really steep and really thick. So that's where we're going to go in and scout now. We're just going to follow this draw all the way back in. So I've walked through here maybe one time before, so I kind of know where we're going, and found a few beds back here as well. But we're just going to scout these kind of cedar draws as we go, and that's kind of the theme for this area that I'll be hunting this year, is kind of cedar tree draws. But this is a little bit different terrain, and you'll see it when we get in there, than what we've been scouting in the past. So excited to get back in there. If we find a good spot, I have an idea where I want to put this trail camera, so we'll hang a trail camera too and see if there's anything moving back there. But we'll get started now. Just head down this draw and meet up kind of at an area where all these draws come together. So that's where we're headed now. And Brody's here, by the way. Okay, you can kind of see. So we're right here. We can walk this draw down if you want, or we can go around and just hit it and look at the trail camera spot. We want to save energy for the other one. Yeah, because you kind of know this one. Around there. I kind of know the area where I want to go. Yeah. So let's just save energy, I guess. That way we can scout the other one. I think that's something that Chance just mentioned about just going right to your spot. That's something that's different from what we do during summer scouting and our winter scouting. Our winter scouting, you kind of have the ability to just go to a spot and then walk through the whole thing because it's open. You can see things, you can get through there a lot quicker, and even just the weather itself is more favorable for getting in there and scouting a lot than it is in the summer. But like Chance said, when we get there in the summer, we're just probably going right to our spots that we have picked out on a map, just because you can't see as much, and then we're really focused on what we're looking for. So we're not necessarily looking for rubs and scrapes and all that because you just can't see it. We're trying to pinpoint those bedding spots and figuring out stand locations from there. So in the summer, that's kind of our difference, is that we're more focused. We're going right to those spots instead of just trying to go through the whole entire thing. Be a little bit more efficient with our summer scouting. Down in here to the spot where Chance wanted to hang the trail camera, and that's really the big reason why we're in here today, is to really hang this trail camera. Not so much scout, we're going to scout a little bit, but really just to put this trail camera in a place that we can leave it up throughout the summer. Chance can come back in here and hunt early season, grab it, see what's moving through here. So we kind of like it right here, but it just, something about it doesn't seem right for where we want to hang this trail camera. We kind of want to maximize our place and get as many pictures, I guess, as we can. So I guess we just again have found a general area that we want to focus on, and obviously there's plenty of trees in here where Chance could come in with this tree saddle. Since it's a long ways back in here, you could bring that in here, get hung in any one of these trees right here. In this bottom, we want to focus on finding a spot where the first time he comes in here, he's in the best possible spot for, you know, the knowledge that we have at that moment. So that's what we're trying to do right now. We have this general area. Trail camera's going to help us a little bit. Now we're going to do a little bit of scouting on these ridges, see if we can't find better trail or find some beds, bump some deer, see if we can't figure out where they're at more so in this focused area. So like I said, I'm gonna run up here, Chance is gonna run across here, and he can talk a little bit maybe about what he saw when he was in here. You see these two rubs right there on that tree, on this tree, and then there's like a little bit of a bed right there. But it's, I mean, it's right where we were thinking, just based off how they bed here, and kind of, I wouldn't necessarily call this hill country like you're going to see in Iowa or something like that, but it's as hill country as you're going to get here in Nebraska. And you can kind of see behind me, it drops off and falls down in that way. It's pretty thick right now, obviously, it's the middle of summer, but even now and during the winter months, you're going to be able to sit right here, right off this shelf, kind of that top third that we're always talking about. You see these beds right here with these rubs, kind of on a trail. that leads back up and out of here. But you can sit here and look down here into this bottom. So we knew we could get right to the edge of this shelf and then see everything down there below him. So that's what he's gonna do in hill country like this, is kind of come out to the end of this point right here, up on that top third, kind of where it starts to really drop off. That's where he's gonna bed, because you can see down below, get those thermals coming up, and in this case have a wind blowing from back here over the top of him, looking back here. So that's kind of how we knew to come up here, is they like to bed off those points in hill country and bed right off that. So when we were standing down there, that's what we were looking for on the hills that kind of surrounded that area, as places that would fit for that buck to bed, kind of on that point or on that upper third. So we kind of walked around this ridge, kind of followed the trail out of that bed, just kind of paralleled this ridge as we walked around. Found another bed right here. Obviously that rub that Chance just showed you is kind of in a random spot, obviously, and that'll tell you it's a buck bed when it's not like on a trail, it's in a random spot. And then there's this big bare dirt spot here, so that kind of tells us this is a buck bed spot. But again, it's kind of at a point where we have a draw coming from this way and we have a draw coming from that way. So again, we get that same kind of bottom that we did just back that way, about 50 yards. So could be the same buck in just kind of these different little areas, but it's another bed right in here that we can note. So now we got to try to kind of figure out where he's going when he's getting up or when he's coming in the morning, and then try to figure out a spot we can't put a stand or something, because we got a bed here and we've got a bed as you go back over that way, so we can't come in from this side, and he's sitting here with this type of wind, so he might have to go all the way around and come in on that side if we can figure out how he's getting in and out of here. So he's just kind of slowed things down a little bit. So you saw when we first got here, we were moving pretty quick, going into the areas that we wanted to get to and focus on. Now that we're in here, we've slowed things down a little bit, and we're really trying to think about why this buck's in here and how he's moving around when he's in here. So we've just been kind of sitting here, throwing thoughts back and forth at each other, trying to figure out what we think our game plan is. So what we're going to try to do is kind of do a 360 around this area, get an idea of what this buck is doing when he's in here, and get a feel for the terrain and stuff, and try to figure out a spot. So we feel like coming in here at night is going to be a lot more difficult, because he's got quite the advantage getting in here, and it's hard for us to get in here without him knowing it. So it might be more of a morning spot, but we're probably going to try to find a morning and an evening spot. If it's morning, it's almost as simple as coming in here, getting set up in between this bed and that bed, and setting up there in the morning. If he's bedded here, he's going to move that way. He's probably coming in on that trail that we just walked on to find this bed. So he's going to parallel this ridge right here and go back over to where that bed is. So that's kind of our thought on how he's moving kind of this way. But we want to get a look around, get back up here into this opening, get a better idea of how he might be coming in here. So we kind of made a loop around here, trying to figure out where we could set instead of standing here. It's kind of hard because where these beds are at, there wasn't too many trails like leading in and out to them. And we walked around back that way, where you can kind of see that opening there behind us, and I walked down that, but I didn't see much of a trail there until I got right to where these beds are. So that other bed's right there, then there's a bed back over here. So just real hard in here, because you can kind of see it's really thick, and it's hard to, you know, get up in a tree and then have a shot. So you either have to come in here, try to set up on the ground somewhere, or got this tree right here behind me, you can get up in that in a saddle. It doesn't probably work very well for a tree stand tree. You probably can get a tree stand in there, but it'll work good for Chance to bring a saddle in here. It's probably going to be a morning spot, because obviously that bed's right behind this tree, and there's a bed right over there. So if he comes in the evening and tries to set up right here, you have to be really quiet, or most likely he's probably going to bump him out. So this is probably going to be a morning spot. He can sneak in, come right in off that draw, come right here to this tree right here, climb up in that, be set up. He can get a shot off on the beds over there, get a close shot right here, and maybe back up over that way. So the beds are right here, morning spot, sneak in here, be set up, and waiting for them when they come back. And if Chance gets in here, sets up, sees them coming from down in that valley or coming up from that draw, coming up from a different way, then you can make a move from there. But for right now, this is probably our plan. Our first sit, Chance is going to sneak in here, set up right here in this tree, and hunt these two beds that we found. So if you just walk this creek back, that's where those steep canyons are that we just came out of, where we feel like most of the bucks are hanging out. So it kind of comes out and opens up here behind Brody, and up the hill just a little ways is where I first came down and hunted this property, and had that buck come up right behind me and then head off that way. So we're going to hang a trail cam here, we decided, as well as the fact that there's a huge buck track right down there coming up this creek. So we're going to hang it on this tree just point it down the creek. We're not really using it as far as putting a pattern on deer. We just want to see what's in the area, see what's passing through. And if we catch him going back in there, like his tracks kind of show he is, then we know the bucks are back there, just confirm some things. We're more or less just interested in what's on the camera just for the fun of seeing what's down here. And there's more traffic here, so that's kind of why we're hanging it here. I can also get in here coming in from up there and not disturb any of the bucks or anything that's bedded back that way. So that's another reason it makes it a little bit easier to come in and check this camera. So that's why we're going to put it here. Nice buck track, easy to get to. And looks like there's a high traffic area here, so put it on that tree right there and leave it and see what we get. Trail camera's up, so we're gonna book it out of here, get some water in this, and then go check out another spot. So as we walk farther in this stuff, like this place back here is crazy, but like this is a scrape right here. Like this ground is all flat and muddy, but right here it's all tore up in clumps, bunch of tracks, and you can see the scrape right here. I mean, these are this year's branches that are broke right here, broke right there, broke off right here, like
fresh green,
fresh stuff. And you can see how flat all that dirt is over there, and this stuff's all tore up. Like this is a place where you're gonna see a scrape come the fall. So just crazy stuff back here. All this buck sign walking back here, like this is gonna be a pretty good spot to hunt come fall.